I'm going to start with my little spiel. So, hello and welcome to the Indie Author Life show. I'm MG Hunt, and today I'm with talented and creative indie author Jess McFarlane. We're going to discuss her latest upcoming project, which is Woman of Wolves, and we're going to get into her writing process and about your writing life. So, welcome, Jess, to the show. Yay, yay.
Ah.
Insert all the applause, whatever stock sound there. So, I mean, first of all, I do want to add this little bit in here. Look, I think it's no secret that I've made it public that I'm obsessed with the title.
I'm
Obsessed with
so
the
grateful
title.
to.
Oh, I just think it's great. When I first saw the title, I was like, oh my God, I need to read this book. Like, just on this title alone. And maybe this is not a question that I sent through in the list, but can you give us a little bit of a insight into how you came up with that title?
Um, so I wrote the book in 2016 and it didn't actually have a title for until
Yep.
now. So that's what, 8 years.
Yep.
So that's usually my process as well. It won't have a title until I think it needs one.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
usually like in when I like store it, it'll say like the character's name and that's it. Like this
Yep.
is Myrna's
Yep.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of coming up with the title, I think so she's called Feilbin, which is ancient Irish for wolf woman. And there's a reason for that. I don't know whether I could share it or not. It's not
Yeah.
really a spoiler, but it's to do with her background. So
Yep.
she got
Yep. Yep.
attacked by a wolf when she was a young girl, and she fended it off and killed it, and then skinned it and wore its fur.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
brutal, but so people started calling her Wolf Woman Feilbin. So that's basically I
Yeah.
kind of just played with that. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to call it Wolf Woman,
Which,
and
I'd be happy
yeah,
with
I mean,
that.
I could have done that too for
But
sure.
yeah,
But I think
Woman of
that whole
Wolves, yeah.
trend of like something of something is like very much going
Yeah.
around at the moment.
It
So I was
is. It
like, look,
is.
yeah. And I think being a series as well, it needed something that was going to be able to set a trend for the rest of the books.
Yeah.
So I've actually got the titles for the next three books
Wow.
as well.
Oh my
And
God.
they are very much just something of something, something
Yeah.
of something again and
Perfect.
again. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that's
is
basically how it
amazing.
happened.
Yeah. And I think what I really loved about the title is there's a real sense of like, I don't know, you wrote a description for it, feminine rage as being one of the descriptions of the book. And it
Mhm.
really comes across in the title. I don't know, I've said this before in my other little things, but I think someone who personally loves to read the stories of struggles that women and femininity faces. When I saw that
Mm,
title, I was like, I get like a feminist vibe. I get like a
yep,
strong, empowered vibe from the title. And
yep.
also the acronym, oh, well, not the acronym, but yeah, I guess it would be acronym, like the shortened, like first letter of each
Yeah,
word is wow.
as well.
So I
I
was like,
know.
yes, this is great. I love,
My nerdy brain though
I
is
know,
like I
I
see WoW and I'm
know.
like, World of
I
Warcraft.
know World of Warcraft, but people automatically, that does something for them. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah, that's the acronym. So yeah, no, absolutely. I personally haven't played World of Warcraft, but I love the vibes. Love the
Yeah.
vibes. So I'm very pleased about that. So I should probably move on to the set little question list that I've got prepared for you, so I don't throw you any
Yeah.
more spanners into the works.
That's okay.
But yes, I did want to start off by getting you to talk a little bit about yourself and your background and where you grew up. You don't have to share everything, but yeah, if you could give us a little bit of context about where you're from and your world.
Yeah. So I was born on the Gold Coast in Queensland. And I was
Mm,
there for 11 years and then moved to the Central Coast in New South Wales.
beautiful.
And then kind of Newcastle area. So
Been
same sort of
around.
area, kind of. I have been around. Well, I'm
Yeah,
now in Victoria. So
exactly. Yeah, that
I've
was the
lived
next.
basically all along the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah, and not really in a
Yeah.
major city, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
or.
Well, I guess
Mm.
Newcastle, I
Oh
think, is
yeah,
like the
Newcastle.
seventh biggest city in
Oh
Australia.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was just outside of Newcastle in Lake Macquarie. I
Hmm.
was there for a couple of years, but yeah, I'm now in a small country town.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it suits me very well because it's very quiet and just
Mm.
chill. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much an
Victoria's chill.
introvert.
I understand.
Um,
I understand.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've been writing since I was about, I think I was, look, my bio says 14. I think I was
Yeah.
probably around 13.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
It's
and
awesome.
so it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it
But
has.
yeah,
Passion
but yeah,
for
it basically
you.
just started on accident.
Wow. Love that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
in year eight and we were in English class and it was basically like, oh, write a short story. And I came up with this massive idea and it was basically it was a fantasy and it was I ended up writing the whole book within like my classroom notebook. And I think it turned into two notebooks. And I was passing it around to my friends. They were all reading it. It was
That's so
great. It was
cool.
honestly it
That's
was the time of
awesome.
my
You had a fan base already.
life. Yeah.
It's
It
so
was
cool.
terrible though. Like I
Awesome.
I still have it to this day and I look back at it and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you
But
were a kid, and that's still
oh that's
something
it.
so
Yeah.
different to what other kids were probably doing at that
For
age. So,
sure. Yeah. No, I was
hmm.
very much just by myself writing my little books. And yeah, it just kind of blew up. And I
Mm.
just kept writing and writing. I think I've got like it's over 40 books that I've written.
Wow. Oh
So
my
I'm
God.
30 now. And yeah. So most of them are finished, and then some of them are kind of like, halfway abandoned little projects.
That's
But
incredible. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, no, thank you. It's just something that I've just been doing nonstop. And I can't really, I guess, describe what it is, but it's an urge and it's something that I need to do. Because
Yes.
if I don't do it, I go crazy.
Yes. I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
absolutely. That's
It's
amazing.
yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing my entire life.
Wow.
Other than that, I'm a huge nerd, as we have already
Yeah,
discovered with World of
cool.
Warcraft.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love video games. I've
Yep.
always been playing video games since I was really young.
Yep.
Um,
Love that.
and I like shooting my bow. My partner Alec has gotten me into archery,
Mm.
so that's been really fun doing that
Yeah.
with him. But yeah, we're living here. We've got our German Shepherd Sam, and we're just
Yay.
having a little peaceful, quiet life.
Oh, it's perfect. You've got a fur baby. We love fur
Yeah,
babies here. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Does Sam, right? The German Shepherd.
yeah, yeah.
Does Sam like to sit with you when you do your writing and gaming and in this
She
particular
does.
office space?
She
Yes.
is right here. I
Oh
don't know if you can
yes.
see it. You
I
can
can
see her
see
back, I
I can see a
think.
lump.
Yeah, a little lump on the floor.
Oh, so
She's
cute. Like a ghost.
literally my shadow. And I
Yeah.
think I've got a disability as well. So
Hmm.
when I'm in bed with like a flare up, she's there. She's just
Oh,
always
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
when
so
it was
amazing.
really, really bad, I think she was just like the one that was just
Mm.
constantly by my side. She was
Mm.
just like lying on top of me basically.
Animals know, and I'm
They
I'm a big
do.
advocate for having animals in your life for healing or,
Yeah.
for comfort, and they just bring a sense of joy that nothing else kind of can. And I
Yeah,
think
no.
I really, yeah, animals can be so healing and they just kind of, although I always say this to my husband, we have a cat, and I always say to him, like, oh, all Stella wants to do is just love. She's just built for love. They just, all they want to do, they sleep and then they eat and then they love. I just love it. They're
Yes.
just so affectionate animals,
They
and
are.
I'm really glad that Sam gives you lots of support because that's so
Yeah,
important.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, provides
She's the
something
gift.
really wonderful there. Oh my gosh, I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Oh, very good. Well, that's a bit of an insight into your world and
Yeah.
where it all began. I'm so impressed that you've written forty books. You will have
Thank
I
you.
I need to see more of them coming out sooner rather than later. But you got a big catalog there. You've
Yeah,
got
I do.
lots of resources to pull from, which
Hmm.
I also can very much relate to the urge of needing to write. I haven't written 40 books, I will say. I'm a lot slower with all that stuff. But I very much find that so inspiring that you've got a huge catalogue to pull from that's,
Oh, thank you.
come out of the brain into the page. It's amazing, amazing. So I did want to actually ask you about what perhaps a day in your life looks like in regards to the writing process, or perhaps it might be easier to talk about it as a week, or how do you go about writing in your schedule?
Um, so I am like extremely chaotic, and I think I'm probably the worst person to look to if you're trying to find a writing schedule.
No problem
Like,
with
do
that.
not look at me.
It's
Do not
personal.
follow my advice. Yeah, for sure. I'm so I would probably call myself a binge writer. I don't know if that's offensive, but that's
Mm.
the way
Nah,
that I
I get
describe
that
it.
vibe. Yeah, you just go, got to do it. Got to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So my process is I guess like when we sort of look at just like the initial getting the idea from the very start, figuring it out, putting it to paper. I usually get the character first,
Yep.
and then it's usually like a scene that I'll just see in my head. It could be, for example, I see a woman running through a forest and she looks terrified, and I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why is she running? Who is she? Etc.
The
So
backstory. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much getting it in little puzzle pieces and then trying to fix it together. And then I'll get strings of dialogue and I'll go, okay, why are these people talking about this? What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
um,
awesome.
yeah, and then it's usually just writing all of that down.
Yep.
And I'll just write how I speak. So I'll be like, okay, so I've had this thought, blah, 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 and like it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
And then I will look at names. I usually use Behind the Name, which is a website
Ah,
that is
okay.
extremely good.
Yep. Yep.
Because you can
Nice.
actually like filter it down to like countries, whether it's a fantasy name. It's
Nice.
great. It's very,
Yeah.
very good.
So you can filter that for the Irish folklore in particular
Yes,
for, so for
exactly.
example,
Yeah.
Woman of
So
Wolves. Yep. Yep.
Irish names are very big in Woman of Walls. And
Hmm.
don't worry, I do have a name pronunciation list
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they're kind of
Mm.
hard.
Don't get me started. I mean, Siobhan is probably like the limit of how much my brain can like remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Or like Neve and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else. I go, oh, I don't know how to say
What's
that.
that? Yeah. Yeah. Irish names, I think, especially, are just very, very hard. So
Yeah, yeah.
there is a pronunciation list in the back of the book. Don't worry, I'm all over
Awesome.
it.
Thank you so much.
Um, yeah, you are welcome. But yeah, so I'll look at like names on Behind the Name and any that
Nice.
sort of like stand out to me. It's almost like the characters watching and they're going, yeah, that's it.
I
That's
love
it.
it. That's
And I'm
so
like, okay,
cool.
cool. That's your
Hmm.
name. And then once that's all done, I basically just start writing. I
Yeah.
am not a plantster. I am
Oh
a,
yeah. What do
what's
you
the other
call
one?
that? You like the pantser?
Pantster?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
yeah,
when you there are people that plan and then there are people that
yes.
write on the like the seat of your pants or whatever it is.
Yeah,
That
that's
that
it.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
like I
I get that.
genuinely do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hmm.
So that's me. I start writing. I'm finding out what's happening in the book as I go.
Yes.
And the characters are taking me for a ride. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is cool. And it's just very much like trance-like, and it's just like and then
Yeah, that's awesome.
um
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can write up to I think the most words I've got in a day is 20,000 just in a day.
It's
Just
incredible.
that's like not eating, not
Yeah,
drinking, just at the
that's
computer.
serious
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is why I'm telling people not to follow my advice because it's destructive.
Yes. Just listen to what Jess says, but don't do as she says unless you want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you want to write 20,000 words in a day. Hey,
Hey, you
that would be
can.
like a
You'll
fifth
have
of a
a
book.
migraine after me.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll be dead for the rest of the week, but you
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's just I think I tire myself out and then I go months without writing.
Yep.
Because
Hmm.
my brain's like, okay, I've done my fill for
Yeah.
the these 6 months or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then it's just rinse and repeat.
Wow. It's
And
awesome.
that's me.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very weird,
amazing.
but
Oh, I think that the creative process is you can't really control it in some ways.
mm,
I
100%.
know that I probably try to, in some ways, mm, I am one of those people that will try and reach a word goal each week or something, but
Hmm.
it's quite small compared to, um, people like yourself or, talking with SK Simone, who can sit down and write bang, 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 bang.
Hmm.
I wish I could be like that, truly. I
Yeah.
think that I am like you in the sense of like I'm going to let the characters tell their story, but I
Hmm.
think I need to take a leaf from your book and be a bit more improvisational with it. I think
Yeah.
that that is something that is, it seems organic and it seems like free flowing from you. And I think that's
Yes.
probably where your strengths lie. And then the fact is, like, your limits or your body will tell you your limits.
Yeah.
And then you can stop and take a break for a bit. And I think sometimes it's best not to control the creative
Yeah.
process when it's
That's
like
it,
that.
100%. I
Yeah.
the thing I this might be like controversial, but the thing that sort of irks me is those people that come out and go, make sure you're writing this amount of words every single day. You
Hmm.
need to discipline yourself. You need to do this. But I don't like that because
Hmm.
I see writing as a passion, not a
Yeah.
discipline. It 100% is a
Mm.
discipline. I do get that, but it's not something that you control in a
Yes.
way that it's work.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I don't know whether that's just me because I don't feel
Yeah.
like I need to be that way and control myself and make sure I don't, you know, divert away from writing forever because I know that that's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
The thing that really irks me is that new writers come into this and they see people going, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And then they kind of get discouraged because they're like, I can't write 2,000
Yes.
words a day.
No.
And it's like, you don't have to.
No, you don't
You're a
have to.
writer as soon as you put the word the on a page, you know? Like,
Perfect. That's a soundbite there. But I agree. I think that there needs to be a little bit of a loosening of the rules.
mm,
Sometimes, you know what I keep thinking of, and it's only because I'm into astrology and I love all that stuff. But what you were talking about is so Sagittarian.
oh, I am a Sagittarius. How
It's
did you
just,
know?
I mean, I remembered it was your birthday a couple of weeks ago. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yes, yes. But yeah, the Sagittarius vibe of just like, the arrow as well. Just like fire that arrow. Let's go,
Yes.
go, go. That fire sign. And
Yep.
maybe I also know that Sagittarians are very philosophical and very like big-minded and open-minded. And what you're talking about
Hmm.
there is such a open-minded perspective to writing. Like, don't worry about the rules. If they don't suit
Hmm.
you, don't follow it. You
Yes.
should be intuitive to it. And I think from my perspective, for example, if I don't know whether you know much about star signs, but I'm a Taurus.
I love
And
Tauruses.
oh, thank you,
My
thank
best
you.
friend's a Taurus.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, yes, we're very. But one thing about us Taurians, if the archetype is true, is like we kind of do like a
Hmm.
bit of a plan.
Yes.
Yes, I am a bit of like a, yeah, all right. But don't get me wrong, my moon sign is in Sagittarius. So I got those
Okay.
two talking to
Hmm.
me. I don't know whether you
Yep.
know much about moon signs and all that stuff, but
Yes, I do.
yes. So they have to talk to each other. And I
Hmm.
kind of go, all right, I'm going to set a loose plan. But if I don't meet it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do it anyway. And the plan is there as a guide. But if I
Hmm.
don't hit it, that's okay. And I really love
Yes.
what you say about don't worry about it. You become an author when you write the on a page. So,
Yeah.
well, writer rather, but author, that's kind of the next step.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That'll
and
eventually happen.
yes, that's right. Do you know your moon sign as well with astrology? Oh
Yes.
my gosh, what is
And
it?
my rising. So I'm a Aries rising
I
and a
love that.
Sagittarius moon.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
So
just fire.
you were born on new moon then, because if the sun and the moon
Yeah,
are
I
like
must
the
have
same.
been. I must have
Okay,
been.
super
Yep.
energetic. That's
Yeah.
your vibe. Super
Yeah.
fiery. I
Just
love that.
chaotic. It's just chaos.
It's awesome. Chaos, but you say chaotic, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If that's how you want to live your life, no problem with that. It's funny, you and I do share a lot of fire in our big three because my rising sign is a Leo. So
Oh, yes.
there's the fire there, but that Taurus has to just, plod away and get in the way of my big ideas. But anyway, I
I
could
love
talk
that.
about astrology forever,
Yeah.
but I should move on to more of the writing questions and everything that I've got on my little list. So I did want to ask about, well, we've already talked about your writing process and what that looks like, which is
hmm
the buzzword chaotic. Love
Yep.
that. That's cool. Perfect. Perfect. I do want to ask you perhaps what you find as maybe something that is the most enjoyable part of writing. And then the flip side to that may be something that is the hardest part of writing. And I'd love to know your thoughts about that.
Yeah. I think the most enjoyable is probably the escape. Um, I being a pretty traumatized gal,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I I have always used writing as an escape.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's something that I I think have like pretty held closely to, and
Mm-hmm.
to the point where like it might have been to a detriment to myself. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
with that as well, I think the characters that you create, because I think they become like family.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, to the point where like when you finish your book, it's sad. You're like, I don't want to let these characters go. Like
Yeah.
I really, especially so obviously with Woman of Wolves being a series called the Arrows Gain Rule,
Mm-hmm.
it these characters I've been with since 2016.
Yeah.
And when I do finish the fourth book, which I'm writing now, I'm gonna die.
Oh, no. They'll be in your heart forever.
Yeah.
They'll always be with you. They're not gonna
Yeah.
go. They're not gonna go.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
like one good thing about like publishing it is you get to experience it all over again,
Yes.
because not only are you editing and you're proofreading and you're sharing it with other people and you're getting feedback, but you're also marketing, and then you're, getting character art. And so it's just like it's a whole new level of
Yep.
enjoyment
It is.
that I absolutely adore. And it makes all the other heartache worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. But in terms of the bad stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, I don't think I can like really think of anything writing wise, like in the
Yep.
moment, other than maybe having to deal with like Microsoft Word sometimes because it's a pain in the
Yeah,
butt.
that's a struggle. That's a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
um,
Yeah.
but I guess in terms of like being an author,
Mm.
sharing my work and the imposter syndrome is probably the worst part,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's to the point where like I will share like a teaser to my book and then I'll read it again and again and again and again to the point where it makes no sense
Yep.
anymore and it's
Hmm.
just words, and then I convince myself that I'm an awful writer, and then it's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
this terrible like state of mind, and you just feel so crap about yourself,
Mm.
and it's like why
Yeah. Where does
why
that
did
come
this
from?
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a trick. It's like a
Yeah.
mind trick. It's almost like, I mean, it's so hard to describe. And of course, I can't ever be in your head, but I can relate to it because you kind of feel like it's safer maybe to not even, well, you try to convince yourself, oh, I don't want to put it out anyway because, what if it's not going to reach my expectations or something like
Mm,
that? Or that, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know whether it's like a safety mechanism that the brain does
mm,
to kind of protect you from all the fears of putting it out there or something, but it's such
yeah.
a trick. And I'm really glad that you've been able to push through and still put the work out there because I've had to learn this as well. And I'm sure you can remember the days where all your friends at school were reading your book, is that people don't see the writing like you see it,
Yeah.
for better or for worse, whatever.
Hmm.
Like everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I guarantee there are a lot of people out there that, want to see you succeed and they want
Yeah.
the book
Yeah.
included. They want it. They don't see what you see and like, oh, I could have
Yeah.
done this differently and all that stuff. And by going ahead and putting it out there, you do overcome the um, blockages of imposter syndrome by not wanting to
Mm.
put it out there. I mean, of course, the voice is in the back of your head, but by you persisting and doing it is such a triumph over the imposter syndrome. So I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad
Yeah,
it's out there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Mm,
it's I
yeah.
think I tell myself, like, I guess statistically, like a lot of writers who finish a book, like they don't get to the point of actually publishing it
And let alone
because
40
of
writing book, writing 40 books. Just had to add that in there. Sorry, continue, continue.
I think, look, like, to explain why I've done what I've done in terms of writing over 40 books is just it's just what I do. It's what I've always done. Like, it's not anything that I see as special,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like, it's
Yep.
not like, oh my God, I'm amazing, I've written over 40. Like, no, it's literally just like my hobby, I guess. Like, it's almost
Yes.
to the point of like, okay, well, I've played over 40 games. That's how I see
Mm.
it. It's like
And you
not
say that to
really.
someone else, and they'd be like, 40 books? Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? So let that always be a buffer to that imposter syndrome. It's like, yeah, but how many people have written 40 books? So we're our own biggest critic. And I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
that still the act of formulating a story and
Mm.
even, the ones that make the cut out of that 40, if even whatever percentage of that makes the cut of being ready to publish, that's still more than what a lot of people have put out there.
Yeah, no, very true. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for you.
Thank you.
Well, very good, very good. Well, we'll move on to the questions I have in particular about Woman of Wolves because,
Hmm.
yeah, this is highly anticipated on my list as well, as I'm sure you've heard me and seen my little discussions about Woman of Wolves, and I would love for you to give us a bit of an insight into it. Share only what you're comfortable sharing because I
Hmm.
know that we don't want the spoilers or anything like that. I'm sure there's so much where you're like, you need to sit down and read it yourself. But I'm wondering if you might be able to give us a bit of a rundown, a little bit about the book
Hmm.
and some of the themes and tropes in it, if you can.
Yeah. So basically it follows our main character Myrna, who is 25 and she's the chieftain's daughter, within a country called Erin, which is based loosely off ancient Ireland. And it follows a lot of Irish folklore. There's mention of like the Tuatha De Danann, which is the ancient Irish gods who
Mm.
used to walk along mortals, and so
Oh,
there's a lot of
yeah.
fantasy elements, but I wouldn't say it's like full blown fantasy. But
Yep.
there are things that can't be explained, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
I like that. I like that.
um, so Myrna, um, basically is forced into the title of chieftain when a treasonous chieftain, there's five in the country.
Oh,
He breaks the treaty.
Okay.
And basically her brother and father go off to fight in battle and they end up perishing.
Ooh.
So she is forced into a title that she's not ready for. She has no idea what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She is very young, inexperienced. She's a great fighter, but
Yeah.
in terms of being a leader, she's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, could you imagine us being thrown into that role? I would be like,
Yeah.
okay.
Plus, she's grieving. She's just lost her
Yeah.
family.
Wow.
And then one day a stranger arrives and he seems to be spying on her keep from the forest. And she interrogates him, believing that she is a spy for this traitor. And basically it follows on from there, but she goes through a lot.
Yep. Oh, yep.
She
Big
gets she
story.
gets captured and she has to fight her way out. And then her whole army dies,
Oh.
and she has to find someone to help her get back her territory and
Mm.
kill this chieftain that has basically killed her family. Um, and unfortunately, the only person who can help her is the person that she hates the most.
Yeah, I love that. That's an enemy's. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not saying the full name of that trope, but
Yeah, look,
something like that.
you're allowed. It's
Okay.
it is enemies. It's an enemies to lovers.
Ooh, we
I
love
wouldn't
her.
say immediately to lovers though. It's like enemies to like reluctant allies to friends to
Perfect.
lovers.
I
So
love that. Yeah.
it's a very big slow burn throughout the
Yeah.
entire series.
Awesome.
So when people are like, I've already so like with my beta readers and with my editor,
Yeah.
the comments that they left about the romance especially was just extremely funny because they're like, no, I need more.
Oh, you gotta, what do you call it? Like, you gotta pace it.
Yes.
I'm a
Yes.
sucker for I like it the slow burn because it's
Yep.
so satisfying when it
It
comes
is.
together. It's like you
Exactly.
don't want to give in just too soon. You
Yeah.
want to draw it out because I think the best kind of relationships in the world are kind of like that. It's like the ones that are long lasting, the ones that kind of are like that warm fireplace where it's like, you got to stoke the fire. Don't, it's not like fireworks just yet.
Mm,
Gotta
exactly.
warm up to it. And so that's
Yeah.
cool. I really like that.
Yeah. I'm
Mm.
not a big fan of insta love because I don't
Yep.
really see it as realistic, even though that's kind of what happened in my own relationship.
No,
But
I know. We can say
aside
that.
from that, we'll ignore
Yeah,
that.
it's writing. It's fantasy.
It's not as satisfying.
Yep.
Especially just to write as well, let alone read. I just
Yes, exactly.
absolutely love writing slow burn. It is
Yes.
my bread and butter. I'm just like, mhm.
Yes, because there's little elements where there's like nuggets of hope that you can put along the way
Yeah,
to kind of
yeah,
go, all right, I'm going to tease a little bit. It's like, okay,
yes,
this is a good part that's happened in the relationship, but then something, I'm just like hypothetically talking here. Then there might be something that kind of happens and they go, oh no, I'm not, this is not going to happen.
mm,
And then the reader
hmm
goes, okay, but that happened before, so maybe that could happen next.
yeah,
You want to see more. That's like the
yep,
perfect way of crafting a enduring love story. And that, I mean,
yeah,
not to cast it, it's going to be this big love story as part of the main theme of the book, but I think that it's incredibly satisfying to watch the growth of two characters who can
yes,
kind of put aside their differences and then form, even if it's not a romantic relationship, even if it's just like, they try to make it work as a romantic relationship and maybe it doesn't always go 100% like that. I enjoy
mm,
those because I like the
yeah.
complexity. You can write more about the complexity throughout the story like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree.
Mm.
And it makes for more like believable characters and
Yeah.
like more three-dimensional characters as well.
Yes. Yes.
Which
Yeah.
I'm always gonna strive to write. If that's my goal for anything, it's always to write a good, believable character.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's not a romance. I wouldn't like, but
Hmm.
it is like it's got romantic elements in it,
Yeah.
but it's never just like full on just
Oh,
this is the label
you're
romance.
speaking my
But it's got
language.
little bits of everything. But yeah, I'm really excited for it because it has come a really long way
Yep.
since 2016
That's
and
amazing.
it's evolved.
Oh, it's so cool to hear. You can just tell us a little bit more about the themes and tropes that are in Woman of Wolves.
Yeah. So themes, I guess, is just like it definitely asks the question like what makes a good leader. Um, and it's very feminist.
Hmm.
So where Myrna comes from, which is Inba, which is like her home territory, they respect women, they see women as equals. You know, there's
Stuff.
literally no like sort of qualms with the men and the
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
But there's even a point in the book where when she first becomes chieftain, this is a bit of a spoiler, but not really.
Okay. That's all right.
Where where a woman, like a noble woman, comes for counsel, into her meeting hall, and she tells Myrna, I have this man that won't stop harassing me, basically, and
Mm,
he has defiled my body, and he's keeps
mm,
coming after me, even though I've told him no. And Myrna says, "What do you want to do? Like, what would you choose to do? Like, to give him justice?"
hmm.
And the woman says, "I would kill him."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Do it. You have my permission." And she's like, "If you can't go through with the act, let me know and I'll send one of my warriors to go do it for you."
Yeah.
And so like
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
that sort of like
Yeah.
no apology, like
Yep.
if you don't respect women, you're dead.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I love that. That's a
yeah.
fantasy. But yeah, I
Yeah,
love
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
Yeah,
that's what I mean
awesome.
about fantasy elements. Like it's got nothing to
Yeah,
do with our it's we're getting respected. No way.
exactly. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's just so fantastical. It's just a utopia out there.
Yeah.
I know, right? But I love that. I
Yeah.
really think there's a big space for that kind of literature in
Yeah.
fantasy, and this is important
I
to talk about. Yeah.
absolutely like I'm outside of writing. Obviously, I am a huge feminist and
Hmm.
I've gone through a lot in my life that has made me angry. Like there's so much rage in me
Mm.
about what women go through,
Hmm.
um, especially at the hands of men.
Hmm.
And so I think there definitely was that in the back of my mind while I was
Yeah.
writing Myrna's character. She is very strong. She's a very strong character.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you love stream, if you love strong female characters,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
this is definitely the book for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, but yeah, other themes and tropes. Obviously we talked about our enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Uh, there's Irish folklore.
Yep.
There's the one horse trope.
And can I be honest? I still am getting my head around a few, like, what the meanings of those, like,
Yeah.
the one horse trope,
The
is that
only
like
one horse. Yep.
close proximity or something like that? Is that what it
Well,
means? Or,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So only one horse means that they're riding tandem on the same horse.
Yep.
So they're
Okay.
pressed up against each other. There's
Yes.
tension, like
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Is it like the same as like the one bed trope or that kind of
yes,
stuff? Like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I need to be familiarized with all that stuff because you know
Yeah.
what? Also, there's another trope, and I don't know much about this, and maybe I don't know whether you write about this trope, but I've seen it a few places. It's called like the touch her and die trope or something.
Yeah.
And I actually
Yes.
maybe I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to this, but like, I don't know what that means. Is it like a magical thing where it's like, oh, you touch
Oh
her?
no.
Oh,
And you immediately die. Like, what's that?
no.
Shadow me? Isn't that what that
Yeah.
is?
I was like,
I'm pretty
oh,
sure, like, yeah. No,
yeah.
so
No.
Touch Her and Die is basically from the love interest point of view.
Oh,
It's like a
okay.
protective thing. So it's like if you
Yep.
touch her, if you lay one finger on her, you're dead. I'm gonna kill you.
I get it
Yes.
now. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was like, oh, that's a bit like a very mysterious magic trope thing. It's like
It's
there's
so
like a
like
protective
niche, isn't
skin.
it?
Yeah. I was like, maybe I could explore that a bit. But no, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the protective part of it. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Now,
Because I think a lot of readers really enjoy that like male character that's very like
yeah.
dominating and
Mm-hmm.
very protective.
Mm.
But yeah, I look, that definitely does happen, I guess, later in the series, but I wouldn't use it
Hmm.
as a trope to describe like the Arrows Game Rule
Yep.
series in itself.
Yep.
Um, but yeah,
Mm.
there's also obviously like an extremely tall, muscly, tattooed man
Mm.
that is
We love that.
it's like I find like when I start describing my kinks, not my kinks, I just outed myself.
We can edit that if you want, but you know,
No, go
can I
for it.
just say I relate?
Oh
You
my
know
god.
what? Yep, no problem with
Look,
that.
when we talk about like the tropes in my books, it does out myself. Like it outs exactly like what I like.
Yep. And you know what?
Like
There's an
there's
element of that in
yeah.
everyone's expression of what they're going to write was romance. Yep, yep. Sorry, keep going, keep going.
But the one that like really outs me is I have to add a good girl in every single book.
Interest. Yeah. All
There's
right.
one in Widow's
Yep.
Flame. There's one in Woman of Wolves. There will be
Hmm.
one in every book, and it's just I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's just so
Yeah.
many people like the amount of comments that I got in like my beta and my edit on that exact line. They were like, "What?" Like, so, it
I love
works.
it.
It works.
Exactly. And if that's what the people want and that's what you want to write about, this is your story. This is
Yeah,
what you what
That's
I write about.
it.
This is your world. This is your story, your fantasy. So
Yeah.
let it be what it's going to be. And definitely with and I think I remember talking about this or reading it in the description of the tropes Instagram page where you wrote big, strong, muscly men with gooey centers. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I vibe with because
Yeah,
I think
good.
it shows. I really enjoy when we show, okay, yes, there are depictions of masculinity that are very, some people do like the whole internal, like the big, strong man who's also a bad boy or, all that kind of stuff that is
Yeah.
also internal. But personally, I very much appreciate the soft side of
Yeah.
masculinity that I think is explored in different ways, for better or for worse, in some books, where I really like it when it's genuine and it
Mm,
shows, vulnerability with masculinity
yes.
because I get sick and tired of always saying like, oh, this strong man needs to always be the rock to, support everyone through when it's like, that's just not realistic. And, we want to break down some of those
Absolutely.
barriers anyway in
Yeah,
society.
no,
Yeah.
100%. And I
Mm.
think so like with my main male character, his name's Regan. He has definitely that vulnerability, and that's always something that I will want to write about with men, especially because like you said, it's something that's not really touched on
Hmm.
much in media.
Yeah.
Um and he has amnesia, funnily enough. So we also
Mm.
sort of explore the mystery behind him and who he is, and because he's described as otherworldly, and Myrna can't really understand what it is about him that
Yeah.
is so like enrapturing. Like there's something
Mm.
about him,
Yeah.
and we find out why,
Mm.
but
Mm. Dear.
not right away.
No, not right away. Not right away. Got to add a bit of mystery for the
um,
future. Yes.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's he is like one of my favorite male characters that I've written.
Yeah.
I love him. I
That's
love him so much.
amazing. Yeah, I love that. And you've got to root for the characters. You've got to root for the people that you include in your stories that, you want to like them and they're something it's part of your world. So I'm really glad to
Mm,
hear that this has been a really enjoyable experience for you to write such amazing characters like that. And
yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to read it. But yes, we'll get into it when it's being released and all that stuff further down the track. Um, I did want to also talk to you about the visual part of, or the visuals that are associated with Woman of Wolves in particular. And I'm so glad that I have been able to see some illustrations on your
Mm,
Instagram with all of these beautiful character drawings and things that have been coming out. But also, I wonder, do you have like a background in design or art or anything? Because your Instagram is I'm talking about like visually, nice and curated with a good green color scheme throughout the whole thing. Do you have a background in
thank you.
that?
No, I actually don't. Kind of the closest that I would have ever gotten is my last job. I worked for a newspaper in advertising. I
Ah,
wasn't a graphic designer there, but I worked closely with the graphic designers in
yeah.
creating advertisements for companies.
Hmm.
Um, so I think the artistic sort of trait does run throughout my family. Like my sister is an artist. You can, she actually designed the logo for my imprint, the Ravens Ink Press.
Yes, I'll insert a
Yeah.
picture of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
she's extremely talented. And it's
Nice.
really nice actually having someone close to me that I can kind of go to and be like, hey, do
Yeah,
you want can I throw you a couple of $100 and can you do this for me? Like
absolutely. Yeah, tap into
um
that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I
Mm.
definitely take advantage of that where I can.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, so I guess it I must have like maybe that artistic
Yeah,
eye,
I think you
but
do.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
But yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part, I'm just winging it. I'm kind of just
Oh,
going on Canva and
yeah.
yeah.
It's a tool there, but there's something about like, okay, people can have access to the tools like Canva, but then there's another side of it to use it. And
Mm,
my day job. is a graphic designer. So when I see
Mm.
that, what also appealed um, myself to yourself, what I also gravitated towards when I saw the marketing for Woman of Wolves was how cohesive it looked. And I think
Thank
that's
you.
something that I could see already that the colors that you chose for releasing the posts were all that the greens and the maybe like a blue.
Grays.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
grays, I guess with the
Yeah, there's like a
wool.
teal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
teal. Actually, I'm just going to quickly bring up your Instagram so I can reference what I was trying to say. I'm just going to bring it up on my other screen. Sorry to put you on the spotlight. Go look at Jess's Instagram because even like the background color that's used for, and I'll insert an image of this for the illustrations of the main character where she's wearing the wolf headdress and it's a
Mm,
green background. And I think she's wearing like a green. I'll just explain this for people that are also just listening to
hmm.
the show as well. But you've got the main character who's wearing the wolf headdress, and her outfit is there's some browns, like brown leathers, like a corset kind
Hmm.
of thing, and then like a cloak. But there's a nice thick green color coming through as well. And all of the stuff that you've chosen to advertise and market and post your Instagram, it's so cohesive. And that really helps to make people intrigued because if that's the aesthetic they're looking for, which is, medieval folklore, mystery, kind of a dark, snowy world,
Mm.
that's what they're going to see visually. And that's what attracted me to your work is seeing, and maybe that's because I'm a visual person too. But yeah, you've done extremely well with the
Oh,
marketing
thank you.
of this from a visual
That's
perspective.
actually a huge compliment coming from a graphic designer. So
Ah,
thank
it's
you.
well, thank you. No, I am a visual person, so I do definitely like that. And it's something that I appreciate it when it's cohesive. Hit
Mm.
the nail on the head there. And
Yeah,
also,
thank you.
yeah, no
I'm
problem.
I think it's gonna switch up a bit because I've got
Hmm.
my cover now. I don't have like I've got the proof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's got obviously like the watermark on it still, but
Yeah.
the colors have like completely changed now. So I'm gonna have to probably
Wow.
do that revamp of okay, now I've got to use blues and grays and reds and oranges. So
Yep.
look,
Well,
but look,
yeah, like
it's
fire,
what
I
happens.
guess, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some
Mm,
blues and some grays. So that links already to, the green that
to
you've
what
already
I've
put
already
down.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
deviating too much from what you've
Not too
already.
much, but I
Yeah.
guess it's maybe like a more of like a frosty sort of blue. So
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, but that's all
Mhm.
right. I'm gonna have to switch things up a bit. But
Yep.
look, I let the cover designer sort of take artistic liberty because,
Yep. Yep.
you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
it's just yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like me trying to because I'm going to be doing a lot of like my marketing materials once
Yep.
I have the actual cover.
Yes.
Um, so I now have to switch my brain to like, okay, different color palette.
It's like that, but you've got the fundamentals of how to do it already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So whatever direction it takes on, I have got no problem that you're gonna kill it. You're gonna kill it.
Thank you.
It's gonna look so good. And with the cover reveal post, I'm guessing, so also for people that are listening to it, but everyone who's listening and watching to that, go check out Jess's Instagram to see what I'm talking about here. But there is a cover, as of recording, there is a cover reveal post and it says cover reveal coming soon. And in the background, there is like a bluey grey on the darker side texture. Then there's some flames and some orange sparks across it. So perhaps that gives us an indication about what the aesthetics of the book visually are going to look like. Also,
Hmm.
what's going to happen inside the book. But yes, so that's a bit of a hint for people to go see if they want to check out your Instagram, which is at Jess McFarlane author. So that we know that people can go look. Yeah, I'm dying to see the cover, as you know. I'm a cover fiend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited
Oh,
for
the
you.
covers that you have designed are so cool.
Oh,
I do
thank you.
absolutely. And your
Oh,
art, oh my God. Love
Oh, I try,
so
but
good.
it's that imposter syndrome too that I gotta
Yes,
work
yes,
towards because I see
yes,
beautiful illustrations. And you know what? I just have to say to myself, I can be inspired by other people out there. I don't have to compare. I'm just gonna get
exactly.
inspired and
Hmm.
do my thing.
Yeah, no, you're doing amazing. What I've seen is just so cool. So
Thank you.
cool.
Likewise
Oh,
to
thank
you.
you.
So I did want to quickly ask and just confirm
Hmm.
the release date of Woman of Wolves and where people would be able to purchase it when it
Yeah.
is released.
Um, so it's releasing on the 25th of February, 2025.
Okay, writing that
You
down.
will be able to get it on Amazon, either ebook or paperback. And then you should be able to get it like internationally. It should be available on Barnes and Noble and some other sites that are international.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
I would assume Booktopia will get it.
Topia,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and then it will be available on Kindle Unlimited. So anyone who has a
Yay.
subscription will be able to read it for free. Um, and yeah, I if you want like, the signed paperbacks, I don't have my own website as of yet
Yep.
because I'm
It's a lot.
unorganized.
It's a lot of work.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot of work. Oh my God. Yep.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sort of do the thing where like if you want a signed copy, just DM me and
Yeah.
we'll figure it
Perfect.
out.
Actually, to
Yeah.
that, I found myself wanting to do that as well, like working out, okay, how am I gonna, if someone wanted a signed copy, how would I do that? I'm
Mm.
just talking about like the short story, Alara and the Passing, which it that's like a teaser for, next year's kind of stuff. But anyway.
Yes. Yep.
So I was like, well, if I put it on Etsy, maybe that would work.
Mm.
And Etsy's worked really well for doing that as well.
Okay.
So that's
It
how
is an
I've done
idea.
it. Yeah, and it'll just like I've just put like
Yeah.
a bundle up there with like some bookmarks and some and stickers. And then there's like
Yeah.
a section where you can do like the personalization part. And then, if people want to put in who you want the book to be put
Signed
to.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
That's a
Etsy's
great idea.
been good for that because at least it's another way to market, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
But
Yeah.
if someone was going to DM me and say, "Hey, can I get a signed copy?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as long as people have like a process where they know how to go about getting one, it doesn't matter how it gets
Yeah,
done.
100%. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
reaching out to
No, that's a
you.
good idea. I might have to look into that.
Oh yeah, I can. I'll send you my little link and then you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, no, that's very exciting. So, Woman of Wolves will be available from the 25th of February, 2025. Write that in your
Yes.
calendars, please. And
And
are
I
you,
am hoping to do, sorry to interrupt. I
no,
am hoping to do arcs soon as well.
yay, okay.
Yeah.
Applications.
So, yes, there will
Hmm.
be an application form in my bio on Instagram. Um, I'm hoping they'll be available by the end of the year and it'll be e-arcs only.
Yep,
And then they'll probably be handed out at the start of Jan.
perfect.
But
Yeah,
either way, you should be getting copies like at least a month before the release date. So you have time to
yeah.
read it and then review it. And
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so exciting. Yeah, I'll be looking out for that. I'll be looking
Yeah.
out for that, definitely. Do you have any plans to do like a signing, a book signing event, or are you attending any book events in person anytime soon?
Yeah. So I am doing a book event at the end of March in my hometown.
Ooh.
And my author friend, Samantha Valentine,
Yep.
who is from Brisbane, she's actually coming to Melbourne for another event, but she's going to
Awesome.
stop by
That's
and we're
exciting.
going to have a little like dual author talk in my local library.
Yay! Oh my goodness, that's so
Yeah.
exciting. So we'll get some information about that posted on your Instagram for people to,
Yeah.
yeah, suss out that.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
eventually, yeah, it'll be available. But I
Yeah.
guess like me being kind of in the middle of nowhere is a little bit hard for people to come unless you like are around this area.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you never know. You never know how people will
yeah.
get there. If it's a day trip from Melbourne, people would,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
It's a 2 hour train ride, but
oh, there you go. It's a
yeah,
train
it's
ride. It's a nice
yeah.
day out. Just go for it. I think if people want to do it, they'll do it. But also, there's
Mm,
heaps of people, heaps of authors, and I'm sure you know about, regional Vic that, will come in and support you. And, even like the Clunes Booktown, I think that
yeah.
event,
Yep.
that attracts heaps of people.
It
Um,
does.
so people will make the effort, but yeah, be sure to let me know in particular the details for that, and I can share that to my Instagram as well.
Oh,
And
thank you.
also, yeah, no, I think people will want to see, and if it's out there, it's just an option for people to go. Maybe they'll make a day trip out of it and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no, for sure. It's
Yeah.
my hometown, Benalla is a very nice little town as well.
Oh,
So
Benella's so nice. Yes, I've been there.
you've been here,
I
yeah.
have because wait, I need to get my geography. I'm pretty sure I've been there because it's on the way
Yeah.
to Bright. Is that like if you? Oh wait,
Um,
no, hold on.
depending on where you're coming from,
Depending from where you're coming from. Yep. Hold
but
on. I'm gonna look
yeah,
this up
Bright is probably like an hour and a half away.
because I remember we
Yeah.
stopped there on the way to Bright, and I remember we stopped at this cafe twice now. Um, and it had really good coffee, but I can't remember the name of the cafe. Oh my gosh, I'm looking up on Google Maps. I think it was near like the library, something,
Oh, was it the Merchant?
something like that.
Was it
Yeah,
recently? Because
recently.
yeah, it would have been the
Yes.
Merchant. Was it on the corner?
Yeah, on the corner, on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
corner.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah, I love it there.
great coffee.
Yes, really
Yeah.
good coffee. All right, so vanilla's not really that far away,
Yeah,
Like
no.
make the effort for Jess, people. Okay, if you want to go see the book and see the author talk with your friend Samantha, is that right?
Yeah, Samuel
Yeah.
Valentine. She is an LGBTQI writer, but mainly like sapphic fiction.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go and see both of them together. I'm going to actually enter in how long it would take to drive. I'm just going to put Melbourne in particular. Yeah, 2 hours. You guys can do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
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 It's
It's
doable.
it is doable. It's beautiful there. It's a beautiful
Yeah, it
botanic
is.
gardens there too. So
Yes. And
no,
the art gallery is very nice.
oh, I'm going to check that out too as an art lover
Yeah,
myself. Yeah.
absolutely.
That's awesome. I was going to ask, hold on, my little list. Oh, yes. Okay. I know I already probably plugged this before,
Hmm.
but my last question is where can people find you on social media and what accounts do you have out there besides Instagram at Jess McFarlane, author?
I do have a TikTok and it's under the same name.
Yep.
I don't post too regularly because I don't understand TikTok.
Oh my God, I'm the same as you. I'm
Don't
absolutely
know.
the same as you.
Yeah. Like
TikTok.
I don't understand it. I really don't.
It's
So
for the
I'll like
audience.
literally post a video and then kind of just like close it.
Yes.
Not go back until I'm ready to post again.
That makes me feel so much better because I don't,
Yeah.
my sister actually monitors my TikTok for me
Oh,
because,
really? Love that.
yes, there was a time in my life where I felt like I felt addicted to TikTok.
Oh,
And
really?
maybe it was in the 2020-2021 period.
Yep.
That was before I even got into the author publicizing stuff. I
Mhm.
just couldn't use it. I just felt too sucked in to that world. So I say to my sister, who also is named Jess.
Oh,
So, yes. So, my sister
great name.
Jess, it is a great name. I'll pass that on to her. Yeah. She runs my TikTok, as in she checks everything and she'll go, hey, Mon, like someone's like messaged you. What do you want me to say? And I was like, all right, I'll actually go and have a look now and check. But
That's so
I'm the
good.
same as you. I don't really engage with it. So we've got TikTok.
Yeah. Yep. So I am on there, but like I'm not making any promises on
Responding.
providing anything great or responding. I'll try. I do check it,
Yeah.
but I just don't know how it works.
Yep. Yes. I'm
Um,
with you there.
I'm
Yeah.
I've got a Facebook page. It's
Yep.
just Jess McFarlane and then a hyphen and then author. I do post on there like fairly regularly. It's usually just like a repeat of what I've posted on Instagram though. I do have family members on there that like comment stuff. So you've
Yeah.
got to ignore that.
They just care.
It's sweet. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it, but it's like this is it's my business.
I know.
Yeah.
That's another story. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And I recently joined Threads. The thing I like about Threads is it kind of seems like you can actually fight the algorithm a little bit better than Instagram. Like
Mm.
my first post, I think got like 160
Oh,
likes or
wow.
something.
Oh my goodness.
I
That's
know.
awesome. That's
And
so
I'm like,
cool.
I
Yeah.
get like 17 likes on others like on
Yeah, no, me
Instagram.
too.
But on Threads, it's like people are noticing me. I'm like, oh, you're
Oh, get
famous.
into it. You found a little
Yeah.
niche.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
I
So
love
I think it
that.
might like this is my advice to other indie authors: go on Threads. You seem to actually like reach more people.
You heard it
So
here first. Jess
yeah.
McFarlane goes to
And
Threads. Yeah, that's
all
great
I do
advice.
is just like, yeah, I don't really post about my book per se, but I post about writing that is like relatable.
Yep.
So I find that like when you're marketing, as long as you make it relatable to people, they're gonna love it.
Yeah,
They're gonna
that's
go like,
great.
oh yeah, and they're gonna share it, and then they're gonna like it, they're gonna comment
So
because
true.
they can relate to it. So I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
am
you're
I a
so
marketing?
smart.
And I'm I think I'm
Yeah,
great.
you are.
I'm great at
You
marketing.
found that.
No,
But it's
I found the
so
secret.
true. Thank you so much for passing on that information.
You are so welcome. Just be relatable and be funny,
Just be
and you've got it.
yourself, whatever they say, just,
Yeah.
But that's actually a
Um,
really good tip. I need to get
yeah.
myself into the Threads world more. You do you have any other social media platforms out there? I'm trying to
Um,
think what else is what else?
Instagram is my main one.
Yes.
So yeah, I got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and then obviously like my Amazon author page and Goodreads page.
Yes.
But
Yes.
is that really
Cool.
social media? I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like another
I'll
additional thing.
include it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sign up for all these things and you're just like, oh yeah, that's something that
Yeah.
exists. If you must get in contact with me, you can go
Yeah.
through there.
Literally.
I know,
But
right?
yeah.
No, that's great. That's awesome. Well, for the sake of Zoom logging me out again, I shall wrap this up from the recording perspective. But thank you so
Mhm.
much, Jess, for talking about your experience, being candid and opening up about some really important things. This chat has been amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and I knew we'd, get along so well, but I really enjoyed hearing about Woman of Wolves, especially from a feminist perspective. I'm really interested in
Mhm.
that, and from a strength and wonderful story perspective. So thank you so much for sharing all this information with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've had so much fun.
I'm so glad. Well, everyone, you got to check out Jess on all her platforms, especially Instagram. And remember, Woman of Wolves, 25th of February, 2025. Get on it. Thank you so much.
Mhm.